right. Neighbors, thank you so much for coming. This has been you can't hear. You can't hear? Can you hear okay? We can turn this up if you need. You're good now? Great. I'm just so delighted to be here. Boy, this is like a cast of thousands that we have here. Not only Suzanne Garza, but also Wild Tunes, Special Pals, and we're going to have Sandy Willis. So it feels like it's a bigger and bigger production each time. I am so excited that Suzanne Garza stepped up to volunteer, to share. And this is exactly what Trace Talks is to me. You find these hidden jewels that people you just see walking their dog, but they're not just people walking their dog. They're pretty cool. So Suzanne is going to speak and introduce her video, and I'll just be the technician here. Okay. Is that okay with you right there? Whoop. Maybe a little bit higher up to your. Maybe we'll put it up a little bit. Well, we're not in the video, are we? There we are.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Have I got it?
And you are good. And this is the speaking one.
Okay. I first heard about Wild Tunes when I was at a rehearsal for the Eagles Trace Singers. Sandy Wills announced to the ET Singers that there was a group that was doing music with shelter animals called Wild Tunes, and she said that they were looking for people who like to sing or play an instrument or in some way make a joyful noise. And I just thought that sounded cool. The explanation is pretty simple. I love four-legged furry critters. I have a dog and 2 cats that are just, I mean, how do you describe it? They're a part of the family. And I love to sing. So why not? And I thought, well, I'll just give it a try. I'll do it a time or two and see what I think. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Those sweet little creatures just, well, they're all different sorts of reactions. The puppies in particular will just curl up and look up at you with these incredible liquid eyes and listen and listen and listen. And the older ones will bounce around and sing along. And it's all good. It doesn't matter. There's sometimes everybody gets quiet and it's like they are really, really into it, and other times everybody is yapping, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't take it personally. As a matter of fact, I'm delighted when they interact with me in whatever way that might be. The first time or two that I went, I just was standing with my guitar, and they had rows of kennels, and I had a little trouble figuring out how to relate with them. And it finally dawned on me that if they're looking up at me, all they really see is this guitar. They don't even see me. And so after about the second or third time, I started taking a little plastic stool with me so I could sit down. I should have brought it today to show you. It's one of those real lightweight ones that you can hold on one pinky finger. And I could look at them in the eye, and I could make eye contact and see their little faces, and oh, it just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. So without further ado, I believe we have a video of my an afternoon at the Special Pals shelter, and I will just let you watch that.
I don't know what the future is holding in store. Don't know where I'm going, not sure where I've been. There's a spirit that guides me, a light that shines for me. My life's with the light to the end. Sweet, sweet surrender. This is the land of yours. Like a fish in the water, like a bird in the wind. Sweet, sweet surrender. Live, live without you. Like a fish in the water, like a bird in the wind. Oh my goodness, you are wonderful. Traveling down that coast, listening to my road song. Goodbye, buckeye, white snow. I'm leaving you behind. I've been a cold man all my life, laying down, dragging the hole. Got a bad life, I was fed by the wind. White veins, blue eyes that fold. Somebody said, "This strange tattoo you have on the side of your head." I said, "That's the mark of the number 9 hole, the more than dead." I love the rumble and I love the talk. I love the groove of the sleigh. He's going down the new road looking for a job, traveling, looking out anything. Someday, when I die, oh, to heaven will I I'm losing my job, that time ain't gonna pay my money. Gonna take home where the heavens roll and sing with the angels. Very good. Very good. Woo, woo. Woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. I wonder what I said to him.
Goodness, what is that?
I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be fun for us to just do a little bit so that you could see for yourselves how easy it is to sing to these critters. And especially if you think, oh, I'm not a singer, I can't sing. They are totally non-judgmental. It doesn't matter whether your pitch is right. It doesn't matter whether you play an instrument. None of that matters. They just love that you're there. I thought it would be fun to sing one of the... Oh,
You keep talking.
oh, okay. I thought it'd be fun to sing one of the very first songs I learned when I started playing the ukulele when I was 10 years old. And you have doubtless heard this somewhere before. So join in whenever you get the idea. Ain't it gonna rain no more, no more. It ain't it gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't a gonna rain no more? Pina peanut sitting on a railroad track. His heart was all aflutter. The 4:15 came whizzing by. Toot, toot, peanut butter. Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more, no more. Ain't gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't gonna rain no more? Some folks think that fleas are black, but I told them it ain't so. Mary had a little lamb whose fleas was white as snow. Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more, no more. Ain't gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't gonna rain no more? We had a cat down on the farm. She had a ball of yarn. And when her little one were born, they all had sweaters on. Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more, no more. It ain't gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't gonna rain no more? Oh, it ain't gonna rain no more, no more. It ain't gonna rain no more. How in the heck can I wash my neck if it ain't gonna rain no more? That's it. That's all you have to be able to do. If you can do that, you can go sing at a shelter. On a one more short, maybe a little more serious note, I'd like you to join me with another song, and your line comes at the end of each chorus, and it goes like this. Early in the morning. Try that. Early in the morning. The chorus goes like, when you lift your eyes and see the sun arising on the far horizon, early in the morning. Your cue is when you hear the word horizon. Is everybody ready? Ready. Okay. Now, you can also offer some percussion. I remember Grandma telling me that I was born as the sun was coming up early in the morn. She told me I was born early in the morn. When you lift your eyes and see the sun arising on the far horizon early in the morning. It was early in the day when I set out to roam, kissed my love and went to seek my fortune far from home. I set out to roam, far away from home. When you lift your eyes and see the sun arising on the far horizon early in the morning. But today when I awoke, I miss my darling so. Gotta have her by my side forevermore, I know. Need my darling so, evermore, I know. When you lift your eyes and see the sun arising on the far horizon early in the morning. So tomorrow I'll be leaving at the break of day. Gonna hurry to my love and there I'll always stay. At the break of day, there I'll always stay. When you lift your eyes and see the sun arising on the far horizon early in the morning. You got it. When you lift your eyes and see the sun arising on the far horizon early in the morning. We're ready to take this on the road.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. And I want to turn the program over to UV because he is the one who started all this, and he's responsible for the fact that I've had an awful lot of fun lately. And so have we. Thank you. You guys,
Let's just have another round of applause for Miss Garza. So my name is Agarwal. I'm the founder of Wildtunes. And so my entire life, I've absolutely adored animals. So I can be seen here like with some goats, cows. I've just never shown any fear towards them. And I've also always loved music. As you can see here, I started playing piano when I was about 4. And drums when I was 5. So a few years ago, I was participating in a View to the Animals program at our local shelter, and then it struck me that whenever I play music at home for my dog Bozo, he always lies down. So I put 2 and 2 together, and that's how the Wildtunes idea was born. So I went home, I told my parents about the idea, and we drafted a concept note, and we also came up with a logo, a dog with music notes as sunglasses. So we showed it to many shelters, and the shelter called Houston Pets Alive was the first to catch on to the program. So here's one of the first times I was playing at Houston Pets Alive. So Wildtunes is now a 501c3 nonprofit, and its mission is to soothe and comfort shelter animals through live music, all while creating the perfect volunteering opportunity for all ages and all skill levels. So these are my parents, and we have a very important special guest here. No. So now we are a national nonprofit with over 29 shelters across 10 states with over 750 volunteers. We have 10 Wildtunes ambassadors. We have 10 Wildtunes ambassadors, which are people that help us spread Wildtunes in the organizations or cities or schools. And we have over 160 professional musicians through our program Stars for Paws, which encourages professional musicians to participate in this program. We have also been very fortunate with the press. We have been on many national and local channels. Wildtunes is what we like to call a win-win-win-win-win situation because everyone involved is benefited. So for the animals, the music helps calm them down, reduce their anxiety and stress, and the fact that a human is playing it helps them rebuild their bridges with us. Because many of them have been surrendered, abandoned, and abused, so they have a bad impression of humans. But when they see someone like Ms. Garza and come and play, they'll think, oh, humans can actually be nice. So they will, so that makes them a lot more adoptable. And for the volunteers, it's a really great way to practice your instrument. It's a really great way to spend more time with animals, and it's just really fun. And for the shelter, it just generally helps create a more positive environment in the shelter and helps them clear out the shelter. So now I'm going to pass it over to my mom.
I have to admit, this is the first time Yuvi's actually made a formal presentation in front of an audience. He's done a lot of media interviews, but this is his first formal presentation. And just a few words about him. Of course, my husband and I are really, really proud parents. He's a rising 8th grader at the Village School. If he had a choice, he would rather live with animals than humans. My house would be a zoo. He's been, I think he just has some kind of a past life connection to animals, always been drawn to them. He's also, okay, don't mind the technicality, okay? He's a percussionist, pianist, and a composer. He just recently, the song you heard right at the very beginning was one of his first few compositions called Peaceful Triumph. He just played at the Carnegie Hall a few weeks ago, and this summer he's actually going for a tour to Vienna where he's going to play his composition, which is dedicated to shelter animals. So I just wanted to say a few words about him. I think we've been, as Yuvi's mom, I've been really blessed to take his idea and his vision and take Wild Tunes where it is today. My husband and I are entrepreneurs, so I think that helped us kind of help him grow the program. And as Yuvi said, right, I often hear him speak to the media and say, and the way he describes it, and he says, listen, the number one reason why an animal is in a shelter is because they've been abandoned. They don't really trust humans. They've lost that connection and comfort with humans. So when Suzanne goes to shelters and she goes to Special Pals, and people love her there. I was just there recently. They absolutely love her. So when people like Suzanne go and play for the animals, they really start trusting you again. You know, they start, that whole bridge with humans start building again. They feel more comfortable. Another shelter staff put it very interestingly, and he said that when these animals get adopted, they may go to different homes that has different sounds. Somebody's playing the guitar, somebody's playing the piano, somebody's holding a big violin. So when they see people come and do this, they get really used to these different sounds and objects. So the effect is, we started the program thinking that this is only going to benefit the animals, but as Yuvi said, it's wins all around, because number one, for the shelter, anytime Suzanne goes, like the last video, Suzanne went to Special Pals, and when you were singing to that baby, that little pup, I think the pup got adopted. Every time Yuvi goes and sings, Yuvi has this, you know, he has this kind of his lucky charm, because anytime he goes to a shelter, picks up a pup and starts playing and gets the pup to play on the keyboard with him, the pup gets adopted within a week or less than that. And it's not just true for him. So number one, we are helping shelters with their adoption. Number two, the shelters are getting a lot of goodwill and publicity in the media, on social media. And you know, the biggest advantage what you all bring is the shelters could have never thought that they could get seniors to come and volunteer for them, right? So, you know, Suzanne is the one who's bridging that gap. So I would really encourage more seniors, because typically you might think that going to a shelter involves laborious work, right? I mean, walking the dogs or cleaning the kennels, but there is something you could just go do for them. And as Suzanne has been saying all along, you really don't need to be a Taylor Swift, right? I mean, any skill level, they would just love for you to be there. And I'll tell you a beautiful story, and I'm sorry, I'm not very good with, okay. And for volunteers, and I've heard Suzanne say this, and we have a couple of other seniors across the country who also go to different shelters, and what they say, in fact, one of them, her name is Linda in Denver, and she said something beautiful. She said, I don't know who it helps more. Does it help the animals more, or does it help me more? So it's really, there was one volunteer, she started going to a shelter because she lost her cats. So she's a professional musician, and she just wanted to go play for the cats to help her heal. So the program is just affecting and impacting everybody, just uplifting everybody all along. And I want to talk about our relationship with Eagle Strays. I think our relationship started about 2.5 years ago, and my friend Sarah McDonough, who's now moved to Denver. She's the founder of the Energy Corridor Orchestra. She's the one who first introduced us to Eagle Strays. Sandy right here was my first introduction to Eagle Strays, and she's been a pillar of support since then. I think the first event we ever did here was with Echo, where Wild Tunes was introduced, Yuvi played, and Sarah played, and there was the flamenco dancer who performed. And ever since then, I think we've not looked back. Sandy has actually fostered a cute little pup from Special Pals. We've done some displays here of adoptable and pups and cats who are available for fostering and adoption from different shelter partners. We do this event called Pause at the Perch. We've done it for 2 years, where all of you have been generous enough to get us recyclable items which have been donated to shelters. Suzanne has performed. We've got, UV has performed. We've got other musicians to perform, and we do it around the Earth Day weekend. And in the whole process, we gained another very important volunteer, Marsha, who came and volunteered with us at the Houston Humane Society event. We did an event at Levy Park. I don't know if you're familiar with Levy Park. We did a spring event there. And that's how, the relationship with Eagle Strays, and I hope it continues to grow. So, right from people like Suzanne, who are going to sing, Sandy, who's helping us host a lot of events, Marsha, who's come and volunteered, to Dr. Holmes, who invited us to speak here and share our story. So we really hope that we continue to kind of collaborate with each other and support each other. This is Suzanne, one of her shots from playing at Special Pals. I also wanted to pass around some photographs of our program in action, but I know some of these photos might be small, but we have some handouts to show you how the program works. As you can see, there are musicians of all ages, all kinds of instruments, going to different shelters all over the country. It's really, really fun. I mean, it's just, as Suzanne said, right, the way the animals react, it is so heartwarming. This is Linda. She's one of our senior volunteers in Denver. She approached us and she really wanted to go play at the Denver Animal Shelter, and she said, I don't have a keyboard. So Wild Tunes donated a keyboard to the Denver Animal Shelter, which is always there, and whenever she goes, she's able to use the keyboard. I also want to mention that Suzanne has performed at Melodies of Gratitude, our annual concert. We've done it for 3 years here in Houston, and we've raised $125,000, which has all been donated to shelters here in Houston. We've been fortunate to get some individual donations and some foundations to match. This year, our concert is in Denver. I would have invited you all, but in case you want to come to Colorado, the concert is on August 29th. And UV always opens the concert with his composition. These are some videos. I'm not sure if we'll be able to play them, but I'm sure we'll share a copy of the presentation with you. These are just some videos of some of the news stories. This is a very telling video. Let me see. I don't know if I'll be able to play it. Oh, actually it does play. Sorry.
Leader deserves a promotion and a raise.
Okay.
With it, you never have to pull these by hand again. It easily removes.
So when we went to this shelter, right, it was mayhem. All of these dogs were like barking. It was very difficult. But UV and Sarah actually played for an hour. So you can hear, they're all rambunctious, they're all barking. And now see the difference in the decibel levels. You'll see it. This is the after. It took us an hour. It took us an hour of playing to control. I'm trying to get this to stop. This is, I think this should also play.
Or music for shelter animals. 12-year-old.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
Loves music. Playing the piano since he was 4. He also loves animals, and after noticing how his music helped calm his restless golden doodle bozo, he had an idea. Could pets in shelters benefit too? So a couple of years ago, he created a nonprofit organization called Wild Tunes with help from his parents.
We get volunteers to come and play an instrument or sing for them, and it helps calm them down.
So far, he's recruited about 100 volunteer musicians and singers to perform at 9 shelters in Houston, New Jersey, and Denver. Volunteer Sarah McDonald plays the flute.
So I think it's very important to give them something different than what they're used to in their little tiny cages and make them more adoptable.
Watch how listening to live music affected these animals at Fort Bend Animal Shelter. After just a few minutes of playing, they went from excited to more relaxed. Witnessing firsthand the power of music to comfort, UV now hosts to take wild tunes nationwide. And we're cheering you on. Thanks so much for watching tonight.
Sorry, we're trying to figure it out how to kind of switch it off. So, you know, as UV was saying, we've been very fortunate. I'm sorry, I'm not a Mac user, so please excuse me. That's it. So this was showing you the program in action. We spoke about our impact. We've been very fortunate to be recognized by the city. The mayor recognized us last year and declared Feb 11th as the Wild Tunes Day. We received a proclamation. We've also been recognized by Fort Bend County, by another council member here. I want to share this beautiful story with you. I'm not going to make the mistake of playing a video here, but this is our shelter partner called Common Sense for Animals in New Jersey. They were actually the first shelter to adopt our program outside of Houston. Ever since they adopted our program, it's a completely volunteer-led program. So there are people like Sandy and Marsha and Suzanne who've taken it upon themselves to get all the animals adopted. So they incorporated Wild Tunes, and they also incorporated many other socialization programs and enrichment programs. All of these working in tandem in a period of 6 months. They had about 65 adult dogs adopted. And Miller over here, who was a long-term resident, he was at the shelter for almost 3 years. He was just very shy, very reserved, wouldn't talk to people. But there was a volunteer called Lisa, and like Suzanne, Lisa used to go sing to Miller. Like, she used to make eye contact and sing just to him. She even got Miller to sit on her lap and kept singing to him. Eventually, he warmed up to humans, and now I believe he lives on a farm. That's the family who adopted him, and he's really living his best life. This is another success story, one with UV, one of the very first success stories we had. Penelope was again a dog with skin condition. We didn't know whether she's going to make it. She was very scared, wouldn't come out of her kennel. The only person who could bring her out and handle her was the kennel tech. Those days, UV was still in 4th grade, so it was easy for him to go every week to the shelter to play. So we used to go and play, and as you can see in one of the pictures, the technician brought her out, and she's nibbling on UV's ears. And after a while, and we did this continuously for a few weeks, eventually she kind of got comfortable being around humans and being around children, and she got adopted. There are many, many such stories. If any one of you would like to come and volunteer with us, I'm not going to get into too many details. We can have a conversation on the side, but the process is very simple. All you need to do is just go to our website, wildtunes.org, and go to the volunteer page, fill out your details. If you don't want to do that, you can just email us at volunteers@wildtunes.org. My colleague Emily will take care of it, will help you get settled with the shelter. All of these instruments work. Any and all. This is just a sample of instruments. The only thing I would say we haven't tried is percussion, because I'm not sure how animals will react to percussion. I don't think that's going to work. He's a percussionist, so he'll probably tell us, no mama, no percussion. So this is something I've already spoken about. Anybody who's interested, just talk to me or go to the volunteer page on our website, and we'll help you and guide you through the whole process. This is actually my volunteer team in Denver. You will not believe it. Denver, California, Chicago, New Jersey, they have the biggest volunteer teams. Like really, people there are so passionate about animal welfare and about wild tunes. We also have a program called Stars for Paws, where we invite professional musicians to come join us. We have about 160 professional musicians, and when I say professional musicians, I mean these are people who are, retired music teachers, a part of a choir, a part of an orchestra. This is our team. It's a very, very small team, but in 3 years, I think we've kind of worked really, really hard to take the program where it is today. That's my friend Sarah McDonough, who's now in Denver. She's the one who introduced us to Eagle Strays. This is all our social media. If anybody would like to follow us, we'd encourage you to please follow us. We keep posting every day about different stories. You will see this on social media as well. And that's it from me. I just want to thank you and really want to thank Dr. Holmes for, I know we've been planning this for a few months. Thank you so much for all your time and energy and for inviting us to be here. I want to now invite Sandy to talk about our relationship.
Thank you, Priyanka. I brought a friend of mine today, and I'll tell you a little bit about her in a few minutes, but Priyanka is absolutely correct. I first met her almost 3 years ago as a result of Eagles Trace's partnership with Echo Orchestra. I'm sure most of you have heard of Echo Orchestra. A lot of their performances have been over in the Audubon Clubhouse living room during the week during happy hour. And we've been doing that for almost 3 years. So, Sarah McDonough, whom you've heard of today, has been a friend of mine, and she mentioned wild tunes and how important it was for me to meet Priyanka Agarwal, which I did, along with Marcia Bauer and Sarah McDonough, and we met in the Resident Life Department conference room, so Kristen Kennedy and some of her staff were there as well. So as we got to talking about what we could do to establish a relationship with wild tunes, we were talking about the residents of Eagles Trace who have pets, whether they're dogs, cats, whatever. And how could we celebrate the pets that are already at Eagles Trace? So as we were talking about an event that would celebrate those pets, we decided that a great place for it would be in that patio at the Perch. And that's where Paws at the Perch was born. And we've now had 2 years of Paws at the Perch, which is a celebration of our pets. Residents bring their pets to the Perch patio. Treats are provided for the pets. The bartenders at the Perch develop a special cocktail for us humans. And so yeah, it's a wonderful event. Door prizes, it's got special pals there, it's got the Houston Humane Society. So it's just a wonderful event. But I want to also focus on another program that brings me to the picture that I have. This little dog is named Daisy. Special Pals has a program called Home for the Holidays. And what that means is that on most major holidays, the staff at these places are reduced. And what they try to do is get as many of their residents placed with homes over the holidays. It's usually a commitment of 3 or 4 days. And we had already donated all of our pet supplies when our Gracie Belle went to the Rainbow Bridge. So Tom and I, my husband Tom and I, went up to Special Pals, told them that we would be happy to take a dog over the 4th of July holiday. And they brought out Daisy. Daisy weighed 4 pounds, and she fit in the palm of our hand. And they knew that we didn't have any pet supplies, so they gave us a leash, they gave us bowls, they gave us food. All we had to do was walk her and love up on her. And that's the benefit, I think, of fostering. There's 2 options, of course, when you look at bringing an animal into your home, either adopting or fostering. Fostering, the shelter takes care of all the expenses, even if you have the animal for a full-time relationship. So they'll give you all the supplies, they'll even pay your vet bills. The only thing you really need to do is love the animal and give it some exercise. So yeah, Home for the Holidays is what it's called, and you can contact me, you can contact Wild Tunes. So anyway, that's my contribution today, this Daisy and me.
If anyone has any questions, Sue will bring the microphone to you.
No questions?
The pictures I see always have the wire between the human and the. I realize there are liability and safety issues, but do you ever do this where you take the wire away? Let's say start with 1 dog. Do you do it that way, then 2 dogs, etc.?
I think that's a very good question. So the question is, when you go to shelters, they're always in kennels, right? And when you're playing for the animals or singing for the animals, there's always the kennel mesh. It really depends from shelter to shelter and the shelter's policy. As far as Wild Tunes is concerned, as you can understand, there are liability issues. So we always say this is a no contact program, because just in case something happens, we don't want anybody to kind of, come after Wild Tunes. But we have a couple of shelters. So for instance, the shelter in New Jersey, Miller's Story I'm talking about, they allow the same model. It's, they allow our musicians to sing for the animals on a one-on-one basis where there is no mesh. UV and I, we've traveled to some of the shelters where they would allow, so you know how a lot of these shelters have these play areas where they will bring the animals out. So they've allowed us to play for the animals. But if I was to say, for the most part, the average, the general rule is that there will be a mesh separating you and the animal.
Is there a difference when the mesh is there versus the mesh not there?
That's a very good question. So the question here is there a difference between when the mesh is there and when the mesh is not there? I would say yes, because when the mesh is not there, the animals can interact with you physically. Like I will tell you, a lot of shelters, especially in the catio area, will allow volunteers to just walk into the catio, because the catio is typically a room where the cats are roaming around freely.
The catio at Special Pal.
Yeah, and you've sung in the catio, right?
With the big open area where they have the cats, I've sung in there, and they'll crawl up in my lap.
So with the cats, I've seen it. I've been to a couple of shelters. They'll come up, they'll sit on your lap and everything. So yes, there is definitely a difference. Miller, who was sung to, that shelter allows like a free roaming kind of a model. So Lisa was able to sing to Miller on a one-on-one basis. So I wish more shelters would allow that, but it really depends from shelter to shelter.
I had heard that country western music opened up different niches. Does it make a difference what style of music you play? Does it make a difference what style of music you play?
I'll let the musician answer this.
So generally, most styles of music should work, except for styles like rock.
I was going to say rock.
So basically, anything that's on the more mellow side, but like slightly faster music it's also fine as long as it's not like too loud.
And we've really not had any country artist go in and play. In fact, we just heard somebody, a famous country musician who's based out of Houston, wants to come and play for us. So I'm yet to talk to them. But typically what I've seen, a lot of instrumentalists who go there, they're usually playing really soft, kind of mellow music. UV's tried everything from Beatles to his own compositions to some Bollywood music, and they're pretty good with all of that. So maybe I'm going to have one of our volunteers try some country music and tell us how that goes.
I think I'd like to know more about your son. He sounds like an amazing kid. We'd all like to claim me as a grandchild, I think. So how do you find time to do all this, or how did you move from just doing this to what you do? And you always play a keyboard for him, or do you do other instruments?
Yeah, so like as far as time, we usually go on the weekends. So usually every Saturday or every other Saturday we'll go to a shelter.
And what instruments do you play?
I'm a pianist, percussionist, and composer, but for shelters I play piano.
And I'll just add to that, he's a man of a few words. I think, I remember when UV was just a year old and we took him to the petting zoo here in Houston, and I swear I'm not kidding, I could have just left him there. My husband and I could have just left him there. I mean, we have so many stories from him trying to feed a stingray to an ostrich to, at that ranch, I mean, standing with these big buffaloes or whatever. I think he was just born to be with animals, and even at school, he's very inclined towards science and music, which which anyways goes hand in hand. It just comes to him very naturally. Like even when he's composing music, he'll just sit one day, for an hour, not even an hour sometimes, and he's like, Mama, look what I composed. So my husband and I, Nitin and I, we consider ourselves to be blessed, because in a day and age when children can be very kind of, occupied with themselves, to have a child who's truly using his talent to do something for the greater good. I remember, in fact, we were cleaning our house this weekend, and my husband showed me this letter he had written to Santa. This was, I think, in 2001, and I flipped, and at the back, the letter continued, and it was so sweet. I should have brought it with me. It said, Dear Santa, can you just make sure that all the animals in shelters get a loving home? So I think it's just him. I can't imagine him living his life in any other way.
Did he create the logo with the dog?
Yeah, it's
brilliant. I saw the earlier.
That's a brilliant logo.
That's great. That's true.
Yeah. So I came up with the general concept, and then we sent it to a graphic designer to come up with to polish it and come up with the final logo.
That's great.
We actually have a whiteboard in his room, and after we discuss Wild Tunes, this is the logo. So the way this all happened, and we didn't give the backstory. So I took him to read to the animals. I think when he was about 9+, we went to Citizens for Animal Protection, and we went for about 3 sessions. And right at the very beginning, there is a picture of UV reading to a husky, and the husky is looking straight into UV's eyes. I still remember after that session, he was like, Mama, I want to come and play music for the animals. And I was like, what do you mean you want to come and play music for the animals? He said, I'll just bring my keyboard and I'll start playing music for them. That's how the idea of Wild Tunes was born. And as I mentioned, I came home, we came home, had a long discussion about it. He's one who doesn't give up. So he will keep pestering you. He didn't give up, and I said, okay, let's answer a few questions. Let's write a concept note. he wrote a concept note. I still have the original concept note, which he had typed out on a Word document. I've preserved it. Becky Best, who is my colleague and part of the founding family, she used to work with animal shelters. I had no clue. I had not been into an animal shelter until we started taking him to read to the animals. She's the one who kind of helped us float this idea with a few shelters. And that same day, within a day or two, he just went to his whiteboard and he said, okay, this is what the logo is going to be like. This is what I'm going to call it. And we were like, okay, let's just go for it. Another interesting story I'll tell you, when we started the program, we actually called it music therapy for animals. We got hate mail. We got about 3 hate mails from different therapists all over the country, and they said you really can't use the word therapy because there has to be some, research and some, it's far more technical. So we actually, the tagline was music therapy for shelter animals, and then we just went back to soothing shelter animals through live music.
I have a question.
UV, so when you grow up, do you want to be a veterinarian, or do you want to be a professional musician, or do you want to do both?
Can you repeat the question also, Papa?
Can you repeat the question?
No, you repeat it.
Oh, I forgot what I asked.
You want me to repeat it? So the question is, what does UV want to be when he grows up?
I want to get into some sort of STEM field and do music on the side.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have one last thing to say. Sandy had mentioned about her beloved pet. We are going to be doing Across the Rainbow Bridge tribute for our concert this year. We did it last year also. So if anybody would like to get their pet included in our tribute, we're going to make a slideshow and it's going to play at the concert in Denver. I can share a link to the video from last year's Across the Rainbow Bridge tribute. UV composed a song which basically played in the background, and then we had about 70 pets from all over the country who have crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and we paid, we honored them. So if anybody is interested, I will email my friends right here who will share the video with you. You're more than welcome to send me a photograph of your pet with a few sentences, and we'll be happy to honor them.
Good way to end this, and I feel so honored and really admiration for your son and your family.
Thank you.
Who created a spirit like this and allowed him to foster. Thank you. Thank you. Next month is Dark Skies Initiative from the McDonald Observatory Live by Stephen Hummel, who's the director.
Yeah.
It should be interesting. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Frankie.